Let me make sure I'm on here. See if I get an echo here. Make sure I'm live. This is working. See if I get an echo here. Yeah, I am. So I don't know. I didn't really plan on doing anything today. I didn't really plan on doing this. Um, but I got time to kill. I got some time to kill right now. Um, yeah, I just watched something based off of I don't know, some drama, on YouTube. Hey, what's happening? And I just felt like I would come on here and I don't know. I've said my story a bunch of times, man. I've said it on various other channels, stuff like that. I don't think I've ever really kind of said the whole thing here. I mean, said bits and pieces, and a lot of people don't realize. But when I was doing a lot of these boring ass videos, I wait till the end, then I kind of open up and say just whatever's on my mind and get into that sort of stuff. But I kind of said I was taking a break, and I kind of mean it. I don't really, I don't know. I feel like nothing's moving the needle. Like we're not just treading water and it's not going anywhere. Um, so Vegas is interesting. This was an interesting thing, man. I've never really gotten involved in something like this. I've never done any, YouTube to me before before all this Vegas stuff was basically just me going to concerts and occasionally I would film, whatever song was going on, whatever that happened to be, and I would just post it, put it on here. It was someplace to hold videos. It was just someplace to hold my the music that I was recording, so I could go back and watch it later. And of course, those that was my original account that I was using. Eventually, I think I forgot the password on that one time, so I made another account while I was actually at a venue, and so I could upload. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Um, and so I decided, to I was just doing a little bit of that. It was nothing serious. Didn't mean, I put a video up there. I think it got like 20,000 views or something on it. It's kind of something kind of crazy, but I mean, it's not my content. It's something, I witnessed and I was there for, and just happened to record it, and it happened to be something a lot of people were interested in doing searches for, I guess, whatever. Um, when Vegas happened, I mean, shit, I didn't find out about it until the next morning. My girlfriend at the time, she was all up on current events. I don't watch television. I don't watch any television. I haven't watched television in a very, very long time. I don't even have access to, I don't have cable. I don't have any of that. The only thing I got is I got access to somebody's Plex server. I could watch movies occasionally if I want, to, but I really don't. I don't care to. And in my job, I rarely have time to actually do that, to concentrate on something. So it's not, it doesn't work that way. So it's very difficult, listening. I could listen to stuff at work. I mean, you know, but as far as watching content, no, I can't get away with that. So when Vegas happened, I had no clue. Honestly, the night it happened, I had no clue. Um, and again, I've told this story various times, various channels. I think some of this story I've even told on my own. But and a lot of you have probably heard this, some of you have. So the deal is, like, woke up next morning and I hear that this happened. This happened. Now, shooting at a concert to me doesn't really mean much, when I first heard the news. figured, some dude went in there and shot up his old lady or something like that, some of that nature. But when the numbers started coming out, I think it was in the 30s when I heard about it. I don't think it was 58 yet, if I remember right. And started saying, "Oh, well, this is kind of serious, man. He didn't just shoot up his old lady; he shot up some other people too, as well. So I don't know what's going on here, And I realized, the guy that I was working with at the time was in Vegas for a country concert. Found out it was a country concert. I don't remember how I found that out, but started looking up YouTube videos trying to find the dude, man. Like, hey, man, I wonder if I can, um, wanna- I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about, but anyway, so like, you know, I called my buddy, my partner at work. I said, hey, man, you all right? He's in a car. He was driving back from Vegas. Said, yeah, my family, we're okay. But some of the people we were with weren't. Say, this person, this person, this person. I'm not a guy that's good with names. So to me, I had no idea who he was talking about, half of these people. Um, so he, he was okay. He's fine. The only reason I really remembered that that was the thing was because this guy was I was supposed to cover him that night. I was supposed to cover him. I think it was on a Thursday, um, because he was driving out to Vegas for a country concert. So that's how I put two and two together, and this guy ended up being okay. Started listing off all these names, people I didn't know or I didn't recognize at the time, and people that we know in our industry, and I was like, all right, don't know these people, but okay, yeah, whatever. He said one of the guys was actually caught on video. All right, well, I guess I could find that, and and I eventually did, you know. And so, as I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, well, I got this person. We were having a lot of issues at work at the time. I got this person that I called. I couldn't get a hold of her. Called her sister and asked her why her sister wasn't answering the phone. She said, "Oh, she got getting her nails done because we're going out of town this weekend." So eventually I figured, well, this girl's like a country music fanatic. I put two and two together. I'm like, holy shit. So I went on her friend's, her sister's Facebook, saw that we're all safe in Vegas, but we're separated. I was like, son of a bitch. Sent her a text message, you know, this friend of mine who, well, sent her a text message and, all I got back was, and probably still have it in my phone, most likely. All I got back was, there's blood everywhere, people, people dead all over, and it was terrible. We're on our way home. All right, so she was safe. So then started scrubbing through videos, trying to find, these people, man. See what actually happened, what they went through, and all that sort of stuff. And started to watch this shit. I started getting angry. Started pissing me off, man. Because somebody had the audacity to shoot at some friends of mine. That was the original thought, and that's what kind of stuck in my head, and that's what pissed me off. So, again, I was looking for him, trying to find him in the videos, stuff like that. See if I'd recognized any of these other people that are supposedly they're talking about. Start running into some of the conspiracy stuff, Hoover, some of those early channels, the Charltons, stuff like that. Um, there were a bunch of channels back in those days that were doing just whatever. And, kind of got hooked a little bit into watching that sort of stuff. And, got into 2 channels in particular. One was, oh, geez, one was Hunter and, Burgundy, and, later, JB. And JB showed up on my timeline, right about the time 10 started promoting him. So, I found him through my timeline, not through 10, um, but started, listening to those guys. And the thing is, again, I can't really watch from work. Can't do that. Can't pay attention to a screen. Um, so, you know, uh, I remember one day, watching a video, and I remember, yeah, yeah, Charles is crazy. But I remember watching a video, and I remember turning to my girlfriend, going, "Holy shit! They're saying helicopters shooting at these fucking people, man. That's fucked up." Like helicopters. Who has helicopters? Who would be attacking people with helicopter? What the fuck went on here? And after a few minutes of thought about it, I'm like, who the fuck is this saying this shit? And I started looking through this guy's videos and I'm like, yeah, dude, there's just some random ass person on the internet, man. Why am I believing this shit? Why am I falling for this shit? So, you know, kind of backed off on that. I really liked Hunter. I liked JB because all I did was talk. And that's kind of why I do what I do, and the way I do it. And I know it's not the most exciting, entertaining thing in the world, but the for me, that worked. That worked really well. I could listen to these guys talk all night long. JB reminded me of somebody I work with. So he just reminded me of some regular dude, man, I worked with. He had the same attitude, same personality. So, I kind of like listening to the guy. And Hunter just had that accent. So, and Hunter had all kinds of just crazy ass fucking questions that were just like make your head explode from time to time. But those are my go-tos. I liked I like Burgundy. I really like Burgundy. Um the problem with Burgundy was he most of his stuff was video, you know. And I can't do video, man. I can't do video work. So that was always an issue, man. But his videos were short, so it was easy to pay attention to stuff like that. Um, so that kind of got me going on that. Now I never expected to do a channel or talk about it publicly. I just, I never even commented. I didn't do any of that, at all. I didn't have any desire to do anything of that nature. And what changed that was I'm gonna get the timeline all screwed up here because man, I'm not good with timelines. But at least not my personal timelines. And what changed all that was when JB decided to call it quits. He said he's not doing this anymore, and he stuck to it. He doesn't really do Vegas at all. He doesn't do much at all anymore. Occasionally does a video with his car and stuff, and that's it's cool. I watch all his shit. Like I said, he's like a buddy from work, man. So hearing him talk, just like hearing a friend talk. And so I always like that. Hunter, it's the same thing, man. He stopped kind of making videos. I think that was about the time when he got pissed off at I forget what the name of that account was, but that account that he was always saying was Turber, Turber's second account, Mr. Visual. They got into a little bit of a spat and argument and all that sort of stuff. And I remember Hunter felt really bad about that because he didn't like getting involved in any kind of drama. And he actually felt bad that that account stopped making videos because of that fight. And so, shit, man, when those two guys quit, I thought, you know what, dude, I'll start doing something. I said JB was just like a dude, any other dude that I'd run into. Sure, he's just like your average fucking dude, man, and he's cool as hell. So, kind of figure I'll do my own thing. And so what happened was originally I made a video and I linked it to him. And in that video, I was talking directly to him. It was terrible. It was trash. It was just complete fucking garbage. And it's cringeworthy, man. Very. And I mean, and a lot of things I do are cringeworthy. I mean, I go back and listen to myself from time to time and think, why the fuck did I say that? Um, but in this, I was talking directly to him and I started linking him in his comments and he started watching my shit. We started kind of talking back and forth. I think at the time he had that YouTube chat or whatever the fuck. And so I started doing this channel thing and nobody's watching it. Nobody knew who the fuck I was. Nobody had a fucking clue. And there was always a running joke between me and JB as long as 10 hasn't found you yet, you're okay. Nobody's going to find you, So I didn't want to have all that many, I didn't want to have a lot of subs and all that sort of stuff. Pointed Stick came about because originally, there were things that were being said by a lot of people, actually. I mean, just various random channels that I didn't care for. I didn't like what they're saying. And so I thought, you know what, dude, I'm going to be poking the bear, but I'm not going to call myself Poking the Bear. That's a stupid name. And I thought I'm going to call myself the Stick that's poking the bear, but I'm not going to use that as a channel name. So I'm just going to call myself the Stick. And nobody's going to get the reference until I actually tell people what it actually stands for. And as I was going through looking for a logo, looking for something, anything, which ended up being this little knight figure here. As I was looking online for a logo for the Pointed Stick channel or for the Stick channel, I realized that Stick is a very hard thing to get. You're not going to find a stick@gmail.com. That's been taken long time ago. And same thing with all social media, right? So I was thinking, well, if I'm going to go all out, I may as well get all the social media so nobody can, pretend to be me and shit like that. And whatever. But that doesn't really matter. I mean, I never really, concentrated on it hard enough to make it a big thing. And but as I'm looking at these logos, I run into a steak, like a vampire steak. And I'm like, well, it's a Pointed Stick. That's a stupid name. That's a really stupid name. And if I come up with a stupid name, then people won't want to say it. And people won't want to come back at me because I'm going to be fucking with people because that's just my nature. It's what I do. And I kind of know that. So thought Pointed Stick, that's going to work, right? I can get that. I got that everywhere. I got the Gmail. I got the Twitter, which was pretty quickly banned, which is probably about to be unbanned. And I don't even know how to get back on that, so I don't even know. But got all the handles and everything set up, and started the channel. Like I said, I was originally first like 3 or 4 videos was just me talking to JB straight up, just, hey, bro, you had a video, you said this, I think that was cool, whatever. And yeah, it's kind of foolish, but I was learning. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't even know why I was doing it. And I was very conspiracy oriented at the time. I really was, man. I bought into a lot of shit, It was interesting to hear people's, the palm trees and the fucking zip lines and all this crazy ass shit people were saying, the Saudis and all this bullshit. It was interesting, so, trying to figure out what was going on was, it was just like a puzzle. But again, it was one of those things where it was frustrating at the same time. And then the reports came out, all that sort of stuff, which the reports might have come out before I even started the channel. I don't even remember. Like I said, timeline wise, I don't remember. But yeah, yeah, zip line was hilarious. People zip line into the roof of the Mandalay Bay was great. But or from the roof of the Mandalay Bay down to the venue or some bullshit. I don't even know what the zip line thing was was supposed to be in the end, but there was a lot of that going on. And I was kind of into it. And but my thing was I was just kind of watching the venue stuff, and I was more interested in what was happening in the venue than anything else. I didn't really care too much about paddock, about the room. Didn't give a shit, man. Didn't matter to me, man. I was just kind of looking for, you know, my friends, to be honest with you. And nothing else really mattered. But you know, uh I got a what ended up happening was Nini did a video, and she did a video, and I'm not disparaging, Nini in any way. I mean, it is what it is. But she did a video, and that video was fuck. She was she was showing footage from, I believe, the New York Times video that they put out. And it was showing Paddock in the elevator bank of the service elevators, and it said Four Seasons on it. And and rightfully so. She was wondering why it said Four Seasons. She was her mind went to, this is not video of the Mandalay Bay, this is video of somewhere else. And and so at the end of that video, she said, anybody that could debunk my theory, I want you to make a video and post a link. So I did exactly that. That's what I did. And it wasn't hard, right? You look at a map of the Mandalay Bay, and there's a section of it. You look at the ground floor, section of it, and there's a section that is referred to as the Four Seasons. The elevator bank of the service elevators is part of that. I'm guessing they've just separated that so that they could, you know, uh, split the costs of running this operation. But since you got basically, two hotels running out of the same building or whatever you want to call it. So I did a video showing that, and posted it up, and put a link in her chat, right? All of a sudden, man, I went from, the 3 subscribers up to, like, you know, 60, 70, something like that, almost instantly. I leached some subs off of Nini at that point. And that wasn't really the purpose. It was just, look, my whole thing was, when I first started, what I really thought I was doing was, basically, if I could debunk you when you're going off course, and if I could take you and tell you, hey man, don't look at those service elevators, because that's bullshit. That's not going to lead anywhere. It's a dead end. Then you'll concentrate on something else. I always figured the crowdsourcing thing was a big deal, right? There's enough people on here looking at different things that, eventually, hopefully, somebody will hit gold at some point or another. And that was kind of my ideology behind that. So, I ended up with a bunch of subs, and it's like all of a sudden, holy shit, man, this talking, doing videos for JB ain't gonna work no more. Now some people are watching. I don't know who they are, but somebody's watching, and that's kind of scary. The So start doing, just doing whatever. I think I did a video slamming Turber at one point, because he was talking about something about Oh, what do you call it? The tracer rounds being infrared or some bullshit, and you can only see them if you're uprange or downrange. And then I went and found a video in Iraq of a bunch of soldiers shooting off tracers from, and obviously the cameraman is not standing downrange of these things, and he's not standing behind the shooter. So it's like, no, you're wrong on that. And you know, started doing stuff like that. And again, poking the bear. Figured, I'm gonna do a lot of that in this. And so that became a thing. All of a sudden, I'm getting a little bit more subscribers. Took a while, and then I started telling people at work about it. I'm like, hey man, yeah, I've been doing this, looking at this Vegas shit for YouTube, And somebody heard me and said, hey, well, you work with the guy who was shot twice that night. And I didn't believe it. I was like, what? What are you talking about? Who the fuck is that? And they're like, dude, you talk to him every night, man. You're always fucking bullshitting with that guy, man. You don't realize that that's who you're talking to. We thought that's why you were talking to him. So eventually I found out who he was, went and talked to the guy. And, he was telling me, and this was I remember he said it was 13 months after it happened. So it'd been over what, a year. And he tells me, he says, yeah, it took 13 months for me to even be able to talk about it because it was the worst experience of my life, man. And kind of went through his story and everything. He got hit twice in the back. Looked over, thought it was firecrackers, like everybody. And I guess, his one friend, they all turned to look at the Manly Bay because they thought, oh, well, sounds like fireworks are going off. And his friend turned around, he's bleeding. He's fucking bleeding out of his arm. So that's when we knew, man, something wasn't right, man. These were gunshots, right? So all the guys in their little group jumped on their wives, jumped on top of the wives. And he says he doesn't know if it was the second or the third volley, somewhere around there. He felt that he'd been hit in the back. He felt the first one. He said he thinks he felt the second one, but he wasn't really sure. And ran out of the venue, ran down the street, eventually ran out of gas and, collapsed, didn't pass out. And they put him up against the car and sat him up against the tire of a car I think he said it was a pickup truck. And again, I think I found him in those videos. And put him against pickup truck. He said, at that point, hold on. Shit. Throat's drying out. Thought at that point he was going to die right there, man. Breathing in the exhaust of a fucking pickup truck. I eventually got him up in there and dragged him out to the hospital. And, his friend that was hit a couple times, you can see him in some of the videos. In fact, I even think I found a video of him actually getting hit when he got hit as he's standing up. So, that was kind of a goal. That was originally a goal. At some point, I don't know what happened, but eventually the anniversary runs around. I think it was the second anniversary. I don't remember. I think it was the second. Yeah, it had to be the second because I already had the channel going, and I believe it was the second one. And the sisters are out there, and I'm talking to them. And I messaged them because I knew they were out there, and there was some explosion that had gone off that Weg Og, I think, was or Sleep Dep or one of those guys had captured on video on live stream. And so I was messaging him back and forth saying, hey man, be careful, suppose there's an explosion over here, because no one knew what was going on when it first happened. And so there was so I got a message back from the one girl, and it's a video, and it's a link to a video. So I watched the video. It's the dude's under the bleachers. Everybody's seen it at this point. Um, and these guys bring a girl that's dead. Apparently, they drag her out from towards the crowd into the up by the bleachers, and I was like, yeah, I've seen this video, man. What's the deal there? Now I knew these two girls had been sitting in the bleachers at somewhere in those bleachers. I didn't know where at the time, and because they'd never really talked about it. A lot of people don't want to talk about the sort of thing. That's why it's so hard to get people to actually open up about what had happened that night. It's just it's they and then there was a lot of suspicions. Even these girls were kind of freaked out that there's all this stuff being posted about people dying afterwards. The couple that died in a car accident, the Route 91, the bar that got shot up, after Route 91, the the girl that died of the seizure after Route 90, all this stuff. So people were like, yeah, they were still spooked about by this whole thing. And but she tells me, yeah, we were in that video, you know. You could see me in the video. And very, it's you can't really make out much. That's why I never saw it before. And I was like, holy shit. And then the other sister sends me the video, says, and they're both telling me, don't tell the other person. Don't tell my sister I sent this to you. All right. So, my little secret. And so then the other one says, yeah, I'm the one that's screaming in the background. I'm the one that's, you can hear my voice fucking yelling in the background, man. That was me. And so, ever since then, that video's been haunting, like really haunting. Because this was like for a long time, this was my best friend. I mean, this person and me were really close for a very long time, and then we had a falling out that lasted right up until this event. And yeah, so we started talking after this event again. So there was that was going on. About the time that started going on, there's all this drama started popping off, man. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, man? It's good to see you, man. Haven't seen you in a while, Saint. I've seen you've been getting out there, man, going to some shows, man. The So, about that time, all of a sudden this crusade started against Ten's channel. And I didn't really understand it. I didn't get it. I still don't really get it, man. I mean, I don't understand what that was all about. Why people would just want to hate on somebody like that, just who cares about people's opinions. But it was happening, and I remember doing a video at one point saying, guys, got to stop this shit, man, because all it's going to do is break down the community, man. It's going to break down everything, because now you're going to put the focus on this dude. And I mean, I'm sorry, but, I don't hate the guy, but it's like, dude, he's not the most important thing in this Vegas stuff, man. You got to knock that shit off. Sometime before that, right? So I got to go back a little bit. Sometime before that, me and JB happened to be chatting on the chat thing. And again, the big joke with us was, as long as 10 doesn't mention you, you're good. And so as we're chatting, all of a sudden he links me a video. Says, you can't say that shit no more. And I look, and there he is talking about my channel. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. And all of a sudden I go from, the 60, 70 subs that I had up to like 300 or something. It's like, son of a bitch, man. What the fuck? And, I didn't want to, the reason I was worried about him saying anything, in all honesty, was, the other joke that we had another one. Well, let me get on this, but the reason I didn't want that was because I didn't want him feeling like I owed him anything. That was the thing. Like, I wasn't sure what the motivation behind all this was of him shouting out people's channels and stuff like that. But, considering, that I knew I was going to be poking the bear, stuff like that. I wasn't looking for allies. I wasn't looking for that kind of thing. So I didn't want that. So, I ended up, I remember while he was talking about my channel, he was all into this Hoover stuff and he was talking about helicopters. And so I did a video just destroying that helicopter shit, just going off about how that's so fucking ridiculous and stupid. And, of course he didn't like that, but, that was kind of the, I don't owe you anything just because you said my name on your thing. You gave me a bunch of subs. I didn't care one way or the other to build a big channel. I was that was my way of saying, yeah, I don't owe you anything, dude. Just because you said that, we're not gonna be buddies. This is not the way I'm gonna operate. I'm not gonna owe you anything. I'm not gonna be in debt to you. So, that elevated it even further than the Nini thing did. And all of a sudden, I don't know who any of these people are. I got all these people watching. I got people commenting under sock accounts. All that sort of stuff is going on. I don't know who any of these people are. I still don't know half those people were. But, at that point, then, the other thing that we used to say was, I used to ask JB, I'm like, dude, if NSERV asked you, because NSERV was kind of doing a big thing at the time. This was before he got in trouble for, what he did to Burgundy. I'd ask him, you gonna go on NSERV someday, JB? And the only answer is always, oh fuck no, never gonna do that shit. And so that was the other thing that was like a no, we're never gonna go on NSERV. And you don't want 10 shouting your channel out. But eventually he did. And I don't hate 10, I don't hate NSERV. I could care less, It's just I didn't really care for what he was doing. And I never really cared for what he did or what he does. And so so then we get to the point where, all of a sudden, we have this anniversary. We have live stream after live stream after live stream about some fucking email account that's pissing everybody off that I didn't even know what the fuck had happened. I think I watched some dude's YouTube video, some guy that I don't even know who it was. I don't think he's even around anymore. And him showing the some of the chat from that account slamming CL at the time, I think it was, and I was like, I don't know who any of these fucking people are. I don't know what's going on. I don't give a shit about this email account. I don't fucking care. I don't know who the fuck the email account is. I don't know who any of these fucking people are. Howie had just come on the scene, and of course that's what the email account was kind of poking fun at, seemed like. And I thought Howie was actually pretty decent for the first like 2 videos he did. Then all of a sudden, he went off the deep end, and started saying some really kooky shit. And so it's like, I was like, man, don't make this about a channel. Don't make this about personal shit. Like, there's no reason for that, man. You guys are all like looking into shit. You're coming up with weird ass fucking theories that we're shooting down. That's what kind of needs to happen, because eventually someone's going to come up with that one fucking theory that you're like, wow, I can't fucking explain that. You got something there, that's fucking crazy. And so, but it became about something completely different. It became about drama. And, and I fucking fought it for a while. It's like, I am not doing this shit, not playing these fucking games. And then one day I was like, all this shit started happening, all these, these personal fucking emotions, because all of a sudden now I'm seeing my people I know in videos, stuff like that started getting really emotional. And I was like, fuck these people. fuck all these people, fuck all this shit. If we're gonna fucking kill this community, let's fucking kill it. Let's go. Let's fucking roll, dude. Because I could fucking talk shit with anybody. And so that started the drama, you know. And a lot of people were right, man. There were a lot of people, and I think one of the guys that still watches these videos now was telling me, because I seem to remember him saying, "Stay out of the drama, stay out of the drama, stay out of the drama." And I was like, "Fuck it, that's all this is about nowadays. This is just drama." And I didn't fucking care, and I was fucking angry, and I was pissed off, and I was, the emotions started getting fucking crazy about that 2 year mark, and because there was more than just that. There was the one thing that really set me off. Yeah, exactly. Burn the whole thing down. And that's pretty much what had happened, in the end. But, one thing that really bothered me, really just fucking just pissed me off to the point that I was just like, fuck these people. There were two other people that talked to me about this that I work with. And I work with a lot of people. So, and again, I'm in Southern California, obviously. And so because of that, that's a tourist spot for us. I mean, Vegas is not that far of a drive, man. So yeah, a lot of people go there. And so there was one guy I was talking to, and he said, "Yeah, my really good friend was there and she didn't make it." And I found out that was Rocio Gayen. And I was like, "Well, that sucks, man. That really sucks, man. You lost a friend over that. That's fucking lame." And I was like, "I'll see if I can find anything on her, man. I'll see what I can dig up, man. I'll start keeping an eye out for that." And that's why, I know every video she's in for the most part. I mean, maybe not everyone, but I know a lot of them. When I was watching that 11 minutes, man, I could spot her every time they showed her, man. They showed her a lot. They liked showing, her. And I don't think they even realized that she didn't make it that night, but they showed her, and they showed her often while they were talking about that other girl's story. And so that was something, right? You know, now I got another connection to this thing. And then I was talking to somebody else, and one night after work, and I was explaining him the YouTube stuff because he asked me something about how to do something on YouTube. I forget what it was, and I think I showed him a video, and he started talking about Vegas, and he said, "Yeah, my niece was there," and so I was like, "All right, well, okay, yeah, there were a lot of people there, that we work with." He said, "Yeah, her friend got shot and killed, man. One of the guys she was with." And I was like, "Well, do you know his name?" It's like, "Nah, dude, but it's her best friend's husband, and they're all in a group together." All right, whatever. So he messaged me a few days later. He says his name is Frazier. His name is Frazier, and I went and found out Frazier was the fucking dude. And this is, like I said, this was something that was another part of the catalyst for going off on people. Frazier was a dude who, that Cornwall shithead liked to say was the rubber ducky or whatever. He had the fucking rubber ducky fucking video about him. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, you fuckers are completely disrespectful. This is bullshit. Like, you don't disrespect the dead, man. That's fucked up. And a lot of people were at the time throwing that out there, throwing all these fucked up videos out there, just hammering these people who are no longer alive. And it's just like, dude, no, that's not cool with me, dude. That's just not cool. It's still not cool with me. And so, that's what kind of was the catalyst to getting involved in all the drama and all the bullshit and all that stuff, and talking shit, and teasing people, making fun of people and stuff like that. So a lot of it in the early days was based off of anger, but, to me, it was, a lot of times when I was doing it, I wasn't doing it out of spite in that way, because I never really, I mean, I talk shit about, if I'm gonna talk shit about Cornwall, yeah, I'm gonna say he's a shithead. He's a piece of shit. He's fucking worthless. But, you know, um, but for the most part, when I would do videos, to me it was humor. I was trying to make people laugh about things. I was just trolling motherfuckers. And I wasn't trying to personally attack anybody. I never wanted to get into that that spectrum. Somewhere along those lines, I fucking shut the channel down. And I think that was towards the middle of the drama, towards the beginning of the drama, because I came back and I still did some of the drama stuff. And, I started, I made a friend on here, and I'm not gonna say her name because she doesn't, I don't know. I know she probably wouldn't care, but she told me to come back. And she told me that, she was getting entertained by my videos and she liked them. So I was like, all right, I'll come back. And like I said, I believe we were still doing the drama at that point. And, so we went through with the drama stuff and that was going on. The, and so it became a thing of debunking at that point, right? Because that's what the drama was, right? People were going out and they were attacking the victims, and then it was you just go back and debunk their videos, and it's just what it was. And but it was always very frustrating. It's been a very frustrating journey from the beginning because you hear this shit, you hear something and you're like, that is so like unplausible and ridiculous. Like how do you get that to that point? Like how can you're stringing something together that is so just thin. It's just crazy and you believe this stuff. It's fucking nuts. But it's the internet, man. I mean, shouldn't be surprised, honestly. But so yeah, we went through a lot of the drama and all that bullshit. And then eventually I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do the drama anymore. I don't want to do it, man. So yeah, I kind of fucking dropped off again. I quit. I killed the channel, right? Because at that point it was bad, right? All everybody's sub to you. Everybody knows when you put out a fucking video. And everybody expects you to do, the shit talking on somebody. So, how do you go from that back to trying to be a legitimate, you know, channel for this kind of information? It's hard. You can't, because your videos are still gonna be up there, the fucking middle finger on the glove, sitting there staring you in the face. It's like, that's what the channel was. It was drama. And so I didn't want that anymore. And I didn't want to deal with it anymore. I was kind of over it. I mean, to me, I felt that I was getting a little personal with people. It was getting too personal with me. And, you know, I kind of told myself that when I wasn't doing this out of anger. I didn't want to do it out of anger. You know, um, some of those videos, most of those videos were fun. I was having a good time with them. I had fun teasing people, making fun of people. I had a good time when they would tease me back. I thought those videos were great. I thought they were funny, no matter who it was. And, but I felt myself getting a little personal with some of it. And I felt like I was no longer attacking someone's ideas, somebody's videos they're putting up, somebody's content, that I was attacking them personally. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And you started to have things where other people were doing very similar things, right? You had a lot of doxing going on. You had a lot of people making fun of, on the opposite side, right? The people that are the victim, uh, whatever you call it, the people who want to say they're pro victim or whatever the fuck kind of terminology we were using at the time. That wasn't my thing, right? My thing was just I wanted to know why people were shooting at my fucking friends. But, at the same time, don't disrespect dead people, man. That's not right. They're not here to defend themselves. That's bullshit. So, and I started to see that from the opposite side, because we started having, people in the community that were passing away. And I started seeing people be disrespectful on the other side. And I'm like, why are you? It never made sense to me why, you're claiming to be, for the victims, but you're creating victims. We all were, with a lot of the drama and stuff like that. I mean, we're all making victims out of people, and it was kind of just counterproductive and it was stupid. And I mean, I knew it from the beginning that it was stupid to get involved in that. I knew from the time that the 10 bashing started that it was stupid to get involved in that it was going to fucking kill this entire community. It's going to kill everything. And you saw a lot of the main channels just drop the fuck off. As soon as the drama started, man, you saw all kinds of channels drop off. I mean, I'm still subbed to one guy. He's doing video games now. He's playing like Call of Duty or some shit, and so, that's what his channel is. It used to be a Vegas channel. Now it's like a Call of Duty channel. So, at some point I'm like, fuck this. I'm done. And I stopped. I quit. Somewhere along the line, I met Hunter. I met him in person. So that was a crazy thing, right? Because, he's coming from, across the pond and happened to be coming to Vegas. And again, this is a guy that, between him and JB, those were my favorites. Those were the guys that I watched. Every fucking thing they put out, I watched. And I watched multiple times sometimes. And, so I had a lot of respect for that guy. He was a way bigger channel than, most on here as far as this thing goes, this little subgenre or whatever you want to call it. And, I had a lot of respect for the guy. And so, he said in one of his videos, I think he said in a video or he said in the comments, I don't remember, but he said, I'm going to be coming to Vegas on this date. And I was kind of joking with him. I said in the comments, I said, well, maybe I'm going to have to make that drive. I said, yeah, bro, come on over. And somehow we got a hold of each other. I think I emailed him and left him a phone number. Said, I'll be there on this date. Here's my number. Give me a call. I'll meet up with you. And so I got my friend who was at the concert, one of the sisters. And she decided, fuck it. Yeah, I'll go to Vegas. Let's go. And, she was actually at one point going to do and I think this was all about around the same time. I don't remember exactly what month it was where I went out there and met Hunter. I think it was, but before that, my friend came over. She came over and I'm like, let's do fucking, let's tell your story, man. Let's tell your story on my channel. Let's do it on YouTube, And she was cool with it. She's like, yeah. So she came over to my house and we're getting ready for this shit. And I put the YouTube on, on the TV, and I'm watching these videos of, I think the one video we watched was the first shots, because my question was to her, like, where did those first shots land? Do you have any idea? And she told me, yeah, behind the bleachers. But then next thing I see is a fucking Hoover video on my timeline or on my feed or whatever. And then I see a fucking 10 video. Someone's doing a fucking live stream talking shit about 10. And I'm like, dude, you know what? Fuck this. No, we're not doing this. I ain't going to do this, man. I'm not going to put you through this. I'm not going to put you on fucking YouTube when this shit's going on. Because these fucking people don't even care anyway. All they care about is this fucking dude and his videos that he's making, how drunk he is tonight or whatever the case may be. Yeah, we're not doing that. So we never did. And but yeah, so I think it was a couple of months later, I believe that Hunter's traveling to Vegas. So, I pick her up, start driving out. We get about, I don't know, about halfway there. And I get a phone call. It's a 702 number, right? 702 Vegas. Someone's calling me from Vegas. All right. Well, hey, man, it's got to be him, dude, because, he's the one I'm coming out to see. And I answer the phone. She's in the car too. I answer the phone, and this person answers, doesn't have a British accent, doesn't sound like Hunter, but I'm like, hey, Hunter? Like, no, no, it's Eddie. 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 I'm like, the only Eddie I know is the fucking guy that starts all this shit called Eddie Schmidt. And he's like, yeah, that's me. I was like, oh fuck. What do you, and the first thought that came to my mind, why the fuck did you give this guy my number, dude? Because all I know about this guy, because I didn't know anybody back then, dude. All I knew about the guy was that he started a bunch of shit that a lot of people were complaining about him, and whatever, dude. It went, I didn't know much about him other than, some negative stuff that I'd seen in comments and shit like that. So I'm like, Jesus, man. I'm like, what's up, dude? And he says, oh, he said Hunter's coming in. He'll be, he wants to meet up tomorrow. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. So I guess I got a middleman here. And he says, where you staying? I told him, Four Queens. I was staying same hotel Hunter was staying at. So I figured it'd be easier just to meet up. And he says, oh, cancel that shit. Come stay with me. And I'm like, dude, I don't know you. Like, and I got a friend with me. She don't fucking know you at all. And I don't fucking know you. So that's no, we're not doing that. So we end up over there, and it took a while to finally meet up. I don't know what was happening, what they were doing, all that sort of stuff. But, um, you know, they call me, and I end up tell me they're at the registration desk over at the Four Queens. Now, Four Queens has a couple couches there. If I remember right, one is like circular and one's just like a regular couch. And so I get down there, and I'm talking to my friend. I'm like, yeah, you want to go meet these guys? She's like, oh, fuck no. She's like, nah, dude, it's too much. I can't do that, dude. And she started kind of losing her shit. She's like, I haven't been back here since the incident. And this is kind of triggering. And because I think this was before the second anniversary, if I remember right. I'm not sure. No, you know what? It would have been after. So she had been there, but she hadn't been to Fremont Street because I guess she was at Fremont Street right before she went to the concert that day. So she got really triggered, started screaming, freaking the fuck out, and fuck these people. What the fuck do these people have to do with my story and all shit. So I was like, all right, I'll go meet him, dude. I got to meet him, man. That's why I came here. So I went down, and these two guys and a lady, and and I knew Hunter was there with his wife, and the lady's talking to the one dude, and I'm like, hey man, you're not what I expected at all. And he's like, what do you mean? I go, I really didn't expect, a dude from UK to look like you. And he's like, that's because I'm not. I'm Eddie. I'm like, oh shit. Turn around, there's Hunter. And he's, I go and I sit on this I guess couch. Yeah, couch. And I sit on this thing, and he just, you know, he came and sat next to me and put his arm around me and said, "Hey, bro, it's really good to see you." God damn. Sorry, getting a little emotional here. But, so, I was kind of like, to me, I said, I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, dude, I'm surprised you even know who the fuck I am. Like, I'm all into the drama shit at this point. Like, that's my thing. I've been so neck deep into this bullshit, and you're the guy that doesn't do the drama. So I'm surprised. So we ended up, from there, we went and I think it was the back of Eddie's truck, right? He's got this. I think he had an ice chest, if I remember right, and he's pulling beers out of it, right? I don't drink. I really don't drink. It's very seldom that I actually drink. And hands me a beer. Okay, fuck it, whatever. Be part of the team on this one. And and they're doing their thing. They're talking. We're talking about Vegas at this point. And you know, Eddie starts arguing with me, and I know he doesn't like me. I know after this, he definitely didn't like me because I was told by somebody that met up with him the next day that said, "Yeah, he really didn't care for you," um, which is fine. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. But we're sitting there, we're talking, and and I'm explaining the story that I just told to you. Guy's friend, she was with Brandon, with not Brandon Fraser. I keep saying that freaking name because of the actor. With God, I can't even remember his first name anymore. But she is with Fraser, and she thinks, the story that I got was that she thinks she saw him when he got shot, and they were all running away, and because at that point they'd realized what was going on, and she said that she turned back and she saw him kind of lurch forward, and she's like, that must have been the moment he got shot. And that's about all I got out of that story because that was, fourth hand information. This guy had to ask his wife, who had to ask the niece, and whatever. Um, but that's about all I got. He's arguing with me, and he's saying, "No, no, that's not what happened. He got shot in the head." I'm like, "No, he didn't. He got shot. It's you have the autopsy. No, he didn't. He didn't get shot in the head. I think he got shot in the back, if I remember right." And he's like, "I do. He showed me a picture of some random girl, and he's like, I this girl was with him, and his nose went flying by her, and I'm like, okay, I don't understand what that even means, like what that statement even is. I don't get where you're like, what the fuck is that mean? Or no, his nose went flying by. Like, what? You're saying he got shot in the back of the head? His nose flew off his face? What the fuck? You're fucking crazy because we have video of the guy and he's got his fucking nose on him and he's in a fucking wheelbarrow. So that didn't happen. And so, then it degenerated into an argument. And, then there was something about Hunter was saying he was he was going off about the bracket. The bracket was put up by security. No, it wasn't, bro. I'm sorry, dude. I love you, but no, it wasn't. And he's like, "Oh yes, and he was there to talk to the lawyers, I guess. That was his thing. And I'm like, dude, whatever you do, don't say that to him, dude, because it's not true. That didn't happen. And and Eddie was backing him up. He's like, "Oh yeah, it did because I talked to people." I go, "Yeah, who the fuck do you talk to?" Because at this point, I'm like frustrated. I'm just like, "Who the fuck do you talk to?" You know, who the fuck told you that they put that fucking bracket up? And and they're going off about this. Go first of all, dude. They're like, they said something about what Shuck had in his pocket. I'm like, what's that? A screwdriver. You're gonna put a fucking bracket with a screwdriver? Are you fucking kidding me? Like you're gonna put a fucking bracket up? Go for it. Go try that shit in your house, dude. Go in your house and put a fucking bracket up on a fucking wall using nothing but a goddamn screwdriver. Go ahead. Knock it the fuck out. That's insane. That's a fucking insanity. So, I was like, that's just not a thing, dude. That's just not a thing. And but he had Hunter convinced that this was what through steel door. Yeah, it's like whatever, dude. And so I'm like, it's crazy. This is so crazy. I'm like, first of all, and this started this whole bracket thing back and forth. And I'm like, first of all, like, if you're going to put a bracket up on a door like that, why the fuck are you going to lock yourself into a hallway with a guy with a gun. Like, wouldn't you put it on the other side? Wouldn't you think that would be the fucking logical conclusion? I know people are fucking stupid in this world, but when it comes to survival, people kind of fucking dummy up a little bit. So, come on, man, knock that shit off. And so of course, there was a little bit of an argument going on at that point. So we go to dinner, and we end up in this casino, and we end up in the corner. Man, I don't want to bug anybody, so we're in the corner. I'm playing a few slots, and I'm talking to Hunter. He's sitting next to me. Eddie's kind of hovering around, walking around. Hunter's wife is kind of walking around, hovering around, and Eddie, um, he comes up, and we're talking about a lot of the drama, the 10 stuff, all that shit. I think Kale just put that video out, about me that I didn't fucking understand at all, whether it was an insult or not. That's why I was talking to him, because, I mean, that's what I was doing at the time, and I was talking to Hunter about it a little bit, and, Eddie comes up and he's like, I don't want to hear this shit. I'm like, well, then you don't have to. Sorry, dude, but every time I fucking talk to you anyway, it just degenerates into a fucking argument and turns into fuck you, fuck you. So it's like, yeah, I'm talking to this dude, man. This is why I drove out here, to meet this guy. And so eventually he got pissed off and he left. Okay, whatever. So, and it's just me and Hunter, and we're just bullshitting. So we spent, God, I don't know, we probably sat in that casino for 4 hours just bullshitting about that stuff. And, I was supposed to stay the next day. And if I would have stayed the next day, I would have met a lot more people that day. A lot of people did drive out, and a lot of people actually wanted to meet me, which was really surprising, right? Because I'm like, who the fuck am I? I'm nobody. I'm just a guy that fucking spews all this fucking drama and shit into this. But as I got to the room that night, my friend was really triggered pretty bad, and was basically just like, we're leaving. I can't do this. We're going. All right. So we packed shit and took off, didn't stay the next night. And or didn't stay that night. I drove home. And so I missed out on meeting some more people there. But that was kind of the thing. That was where me and Hunter became, buddies and all that shit. Well, eventually, like, the drama kind of got, like I said, it got too far. It got too crazy. It started to get to the point where people were bashing, other people for, whatever the case may be, their appearance or whatever. And, it went from being this passive aggressive to open aggression. And it's just like, I'm like, I can see where this is going. This is going to degenerate to like all the stupid shit, the doxing and the swatting and all this dumb shit that I don't want to have anything to fucking do with. So I was like, I'm done. I don't need to be doing this drama anymore. I don't know why I got involved in the first place. And and so I killed the channel the second time. And, but Hunter kept talking to me, and we kept doing things, and we kept talking about things. And so, I opened the channel back up originally just so I could send private messages back and forth to him. And that's what was happening is, I do everything unlisted, and I just send him a video, and then he'd send something back, and then, he'd go back and forth with me. What happened was he came back, he talked about that fucking bracket on the door. And he did a video, and if my memory serves me right, he actually, at the beginning of the video said, this is for the lawyers. And he talked about the bracket. And he said after that, they basically sent him an email saying, we no longer want any correspondence with you. He lost their trust. And I told him, I said, dude, I was trying to warn you, dude. That's a bad fucking topic, dude. That didn't happen. It's just like, there's no way to fucking, it doesn't even make sense, let alone trying to prove that it happened. It's just ridiculous. And so what ended up happening, our relationship, I guess, would be basically anytime he had an idea, anytime he had something, right? I used to do this. I'll be honest with you. I used to do this a little bit with Alan Dion back in the day because Alan Dion thought he had the answers to everything. He still does, but the thing is, he was a good source because you could go and ask him something. And if he couldn't explain it coherently, then you knew you were onto something, right? And that's kind of what Hunter was doing with me is I ended up as the debunker for, whatever he was talking about. And so we ended up kind of going back and forth with a lot of things, and I was kind of the guy that would walk him off the cliff. It's like, nah, don't talk about that, bro. You don't want to talk about that. I mean, we even got to the point where I was telling him, you know there was a person he wanted to talk to in the community, and and I let him know, like, if you do that, because I was involved in the drama, bro. I know what all these people were saying, behind closed doors, or at least half of them were saying. I'm like, you're gonna stir up shit, and these people are gonna get pissed off at you. And I don't know if it's really worth it. And I always told him, keep my channel separate from yours. Like, don't ever mention me. I don't ever want you to mention me, and I'm never gonna mention you. And I'm not gonna say what you're talking about. Don't say what I'm talking about. Just ignore me. Pretend like it's nothing. Like, don't even tell people you met me, dude. Just don't worry about it. Because I'm toxic. My channel was toxic. It was drama, and that's what it devolved into. And that was part of the problem with all that, is we couldn't talk to each other anymore. It just turned into this our side versus your side, and if it didn't have to do with drama, nobody gave a shit. Like, I would put out videos of drama and it would get like 350 views or some crap like that. I put out a video about Vegas and it'd get like 60. So it was obvious where it was going. And that was a little frustrating. But so for the longest time, yeah, we just never said anything. We just did private videos back and forth. So eventually I started doing public videos. I started putting some of this stuff public that I was talking about with him and stuff like that. And I just wouldn't mention that, the video was focused on him. When he passed away, the last video he sent me, fuck, man, this could be a hard one. This is gonna be a hard one to talk about. The last video he sent, God, I just completely lost that train of thought. My brain does not want to talk about this. The last video he sent, he said, I wish you would do your live streams on British time, because I'd love to be in there when you're talking. Ah, son of a bitch, man. And so he disappeared. And after that video, he disappeared. And it was about 2 weeks, I think. He'd vanished. And I drove out to Vegas, and I don't think he'll mind me saying it. I met up with LVSA because I knew LVSA was talking to him. And I just wanted to hear from, the horse's mouth if LVSA had heard from Hunter or not. Because we were all getting worried. And so I made a video to him about that time. I think it might have been when I came back from that trip, basically saying, we're worried about you. And That video is still on the channel. It's unlisted. Um, it's got 2 views on it, and that's because I sent it to his daughter. Somehow, Michelle got a hold of his daughter, and we started talking. As far as I know, as far as this YouTube stuff goes, um, I was the only one at his funeral. Whew, yeah, this is tough, man. This is why I did that video right after you know Turber went and threw that out there, and we kind of knew that you know I did that immediately after because I know how hard this gets. Yeah, it's a tough one. And this is even why I originally came on here to talk about, to be honest with you. But the family invited me to the funeral to watch it. I had to come home from work early that day and get online, and it was during COVID, so it was streamed because they didn't want people there. The family was there, but you know, the one of these days, if I ever get around to it, this little night guy right there, I got to clean him up. I got to send him to England. I just haven't done it yet. Because I'm done with him. I mean, he's, and I think everyone's heard the story. That dude was a prize from, shit, he's sitting here right next to me. He was a prize I got from the Excalibur back in the day. Shit, I was probably 13, 14, maybe 15. I don't know. I don't remember. But they have a little arcade there for people to win stuffed animals, shit like that. Well, this was one of the prizes. I don't know how much money I dumped into actually winning this thing, but I won this thing. And it's been with me ever since. When I started the channel, I had no idea. Couldn't find any icons I liked. Couldn't find anything I liked, dude. So I didn't know what to use, man. I figured that was the most suiting thing because he came from Vegas. Just memorabilia trash from Vegas. But yeah, so after after he passed, he kept me going for a while there. Like I said, when I originally killed the channel, there was someone else that talked me into keeping it going. And I don't know why people like hearing me talk so much, but you know, um, I guess that's a thing. And so, the second time I destroyed the channel, he kept me going. And that was really the only reason I was doing it after that, after the drama, you know, post drama. And, so I started doing everything at night, late at night, British time, basically. And Tank guessed that. He guessed that exactly right. He said that one night that he figured it out, why I was doing it, when I was doing it. Do it in the middle of the night when no one's awake, no one's around. Got one person listening to me. And yeah, that was the reason. And that's kind of kept me going up to this point. And I kind of said the goal at that point was just get through everything and deal with it all. That's a lot, man. It's a lot, and it's hard when you come on here and you feel like you're just spinning your wheels and you're not really, it's just nothing. There's nothing left. And, and then you go and you talk to people and you start agreeing on things and you start to, you're kind of coming to an understanding on things. And then all of a sudden you hear some just whacked out shit. And you're like, man, why are we degenerating back into this shit? It's just weird. It's hard. Like, I was into conspiracy stuff, man. I thought it was kind of interesting to, pay attention to some of that stuff before this happened. And this whole Vegas thing knocked that out of me completely. I hate conspiracies now, man. I just don't like that shit. And because they don't, now I look at it and I see it as like, people just, a lot of it's just made up or it's just so thin that it just doesn't make sense. And all I wanted to do from the beginning of this thing is just make sense of this. Like, if this is some dude that just went whacked out and fucking crazy and shot at a bunch of people, I can accept that. It's all good, dude. I don't care. But, I want to know that that's what happened. I want to be sure about that. And I'm not. I'm totally not. And, but I'm pretty sure helicopters didn't shoot at people. But yet you still hear that shit. And I'm pretty positive that there's no such thing as an LRAD in Vegas that night, at least not being utilized by anybody. And it gets frustrating. You start hearing this shit and you're just like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like, I'm going through, I'm reading all this bullshit. This is evidence. This is what's going on, and people are turning around saying, oh no, that's all fake. It's all Photoshop. It's all fucking whatever, dude. And it's like, dude, come on, man. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, everything's fake. Like, if it doesn't fit into your fucking bubble of whatever you're believing, it's fake. I said the whole point from the beginning was, it's like, look, you're wrong. This is wrong. Keep trying. I don't want you to quit. I don't want anyone quitting. I mean, that's what happened. But, in the end, it's like, I don't want you to just, bow out. Yeah, I'd rather you just keep going. Go with something else, man. Find something that works. Find something that makes sense. Find something that you can't debunk in fucking, a 15-minute fucking video or some shit. Just do something. Do something different. Like I said, that was the thing with Nini. The crazy thing about that was, man, she messaged me. Oh my God, man. She put that video unlisted at one point. And all of a sudden I started getting comments from Nene, and I'd never talked to her before that. I was like, who the, what the hell? What are you doing commenting or talking to me? And she was talking to me through comments. And I was just like, look, the only reason I commented on this video in the first place is you challenged somebody to debunk it, and I did. That is what it is. And it was just a weird thing, right? And then she passed away eventually, and it was like, okay, well that's fucked up, man. I mean, I don't want anyone fucking passing away, man. I don't care if you know, we're on the same team or not. It doesn't fucking matter. And then like I said, things just went too far. With all the drama, just things went way too far. Went off the fucking people went off the reservation, man. And then you came to a point where you're making fucking victims out of people that aren't victims, man. It's fucked up, man. That's not right. That's stupid. And then you're taking this event, and it's kind of fucked up when you're taking this event and you're just, you're not talking about it anymore. Now you're talking about a person who is trying to talk about the event and you're just belittling that person. I don't know. I just didn't get it, man. I didn't get it. After a while, it was too much. But yeah, that's why, that's kind of why I just said, this isn't, I don't feel like it's going anywhere. Unless something new comes out, it's just like, we're not going anywhere. Nothing's moving the needle anymore. I could watch all the videos, I could read all the statements, I could do all that shit. I mean, I could even go through the autopsies, which is something that I kind of want to do eventually, but damn, it's a lot of work. This shit's a lot of work. And that's the problem. Like, to figure this shit out, it's going to take a lot of work. It's a shit ton of work. It really is, man. It's crazy having to go through, having to trying to find out who the autopsies are for is fucking insane. It's absolutely fucking insane because some of them are fairly simple. The Rocio Guyen, that was fairly simple because you got shot in the leg and there's only, one person was shot in the leg. So you can pretty much figure that whole thing out. The Hartfield, you can tell which one he is. He's shot in the neck or whatever. I mean, and I mean, they're pretty thorough with that autopsy. So it's there. And there's a lot of other people. Yeah, you can figure them out. But then you get up to about 20 of them. And the other 38, you're like, fuck, man, I don't know. I don't know if this could be this person, could be this person, could be this person. I don't fucking know. I don't know what they were wearing that night. I haven't seen a picture of it. I don't fucking know. I don't have a clue. I think that would be the most useful, to be honest with you, for the victims that are involved. I think that would be the most useful thing to do. So, if for any reason the families did want closure, kind of like what Return to Logic was doing for a long time. If the families do want closure, need closure or whatever, you could then trace, their final steps or whatever it happens to be. I don't know who would be interested in that, but I mean, at least, that would be something. But, then you just hear nonsense. You come on and hear fucking nonsense. And it's like, I always think of it as if you were there or, your husband or wife or, boyfriend, girlfriend, sister, brother, whatever it happened to be, was shot and killed that night. Like, how would you look upon this video? How would you look at it? When some dude's fucking making rubber ducky sounds while people are trying to give a guy CPR who's dying in a fucking wheelbarrow. How would you look upon that shit? And I've told people this, people that have jumped on that bandwagon, it's like, how would you feel about that shit? If you're spreading this crazy ass fucking theory out there, how would you feel about that? Stupid shit like the zip lines and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, dude, I mean, nobody's going to believe that shit. That was dumb. That was absolutely fucking stupid. The Saudi fucking thing is dumb. Um, the helicopters are fucking dumb. I even think LRADs are fucking dumb. Completely fucking implausible. But you have a lot of people that are doing that, and that's what's devolved into, man. It's just conspiracies, right? And it's not hard to come up with a conspiracy, man. I mean, you know, back in the day when I used to talk JB, I used to, fuck around and just come up with wild ass conspiracies just for shits and giggles, just to show how easy it was. You know, I did a video that I never actually finished and I never put it public. And I think I only played it on Angela's channel um, one night. And I'm sure she's probably deleted the video or whatever. I don't know what she's done with it, but um, I did a video, and there was kind of a purpose behind it that I didn't really talk about. But it was this singer called Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne, there's a big, well, it's not a big conspiracy. I don't know, whatever. But there's a conspiracy behind that, right? Just like the Eminem robot conspiracy that fucking I put up there. And the Avril Lavigne thing was, and the Eminem was kind of along the same vein. It's just that this is absurd. Absolutely fucking absurd. Eminem is a fucking robot. Are you fucking kidding me? And that's just kind of to show that this is how absurd things can actually be. And this is how a lot of times they sound to other people. So Avril Lavigne, there was God, I got to remember the timeline here. There's a blog post by somebody in Brazil on some Brazilian blog that said Avril Lavigne had died. She died, I think, right after her first album came out or whatever. And it's a conspiracy. It's bullshit. It's totally untrue. But it's obvious why it's untrue. The person who posted this blog said the title of that blog was "This is to show how conspiracies can." Was it seem true? I think is what it was. I think that's how it was worded. And so this guy goes off on this tangent about how Avril Lavigne killed herself. And again, he titled it, "This is, why conspiracies can seem true." And, so obviously he was coming from a place of context where it's bullshit. He's just spreading bullshit. And he didn't mean it to be taken seriously. Well, it got taken seriously by certain groups of people. And, there became this big conspiracy behind Avril Lavigne, being no longer around, and that she was replaced by some other person. And and they got so far as to name this person that she was replaced by, gave her a first and last name. She's got Facebook profiles. She's got like a dozen Facebook profiles. This fake person. It's insane. It's insane. But the whole purpose behind that was like, look, like, this is absurd. Some of this stuff just gets into absurd territory. And I don't know, man. I mean, people just make shit up. And it's not hard to make something up. It really isn't. And that's what people seem to like to do. And it's like, why bother with this madness, going through, official documents and all that sort of stuff when somebody's just going to come and say, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something stupid, but Paddock worked for this organization, and anything you say to the contrary is either photoshopped or fake, or they're covering it up. And it's like, dude, well, where's your evidence? There is none. There is none. My evidence is I think that happened. It's like, you're crazy. That just makes you fucking crazy. And so that's kind of, it's just, it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you're like, you can go on there and you can say, hey, look, this is bullshit. This didn't happen, and someone can just sit there and say, well, I think it did. It's like, well, I don't care what you think. It didn't happen. It's like there's something called reality, and, if you're actually trying to figure things out, you should live within the boundaries of reality, not I don't know. I don't know, man. I just had some time to kill, so I figured I'd come on here and talk a little bit. But but yeah, that was kind of the evolution of this whole thing. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you to a point, man. I do it to satisfy myself too. I mean, um, that was the whole thing behind this, you know, lately was just to kind of document this stuff. And so I could always go back and say, hey, you watched this video. What did you think about it at the time? And listen to it and, hear myself explain what's kind of going on in my head at the time. That was the deal. Like I never did this to, for the masses. I never really wanted to. In fact, second time I nuked my channel, man, when I was doing all the drama, fuck, man, I had more subs than I've had, before or since. You know, uh, the first time I nuked the channel, I didn't have that many. The second time I nuked my channel, I had quite a few. And yeah, this time, I don't have very many at all. And it's like that's kind of what I wanted. I just wanted to get rid of all the bullshit, you know. I mean, people still find these videos, but whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, I never really, you know, how do I say it? Like, I never cared if anybody else, you know, followed me down whatever path. I was kind of doing it for myself, but then, you end up making some kind of relationship, friendship, or whatever it happens to be with somebody, and you start talking about things, and all of a sudden they go off in the other direction. You're like, dude, wait, what the fuck just happened? Like we were totally in agreement at one point, and then all of a sudden, somebody else is out there saying some other fucking ludicrous shit, and you're like running off on that tangent. It's like, dude, what just happened? That's where shit gets crazy. That shit always got crazy for me. The it's it's fucking nuts. It's absolutely fucking nuts, man. And that's like I said, the conspiracy thing, man. I just don't fucking like it anymore. I fucking can't stand it. You know, the the Tropicana has become a big thing now. And I think that's a huge thing, right? They stay at the Tropicana. I think that's massive. And that he tried to get a room that, during the shooting, at the time of the shooting, that's massive. That's huge. That's a big deal. It should be a big deal. And but I hear people saying, well, I think I heard someone say, well, he got his friends to stay there, and that was the other shooters. And it's like, dude, what? Like, can you prove that? No. No. It's what you just thought up in your head in 10 seconds. You didn't put any fucking effort into that. That's crazy. And that's kind of shit you have to fucking deal with. And it's like it's infuriating from time to time. It's like you just made that up. So it's like I don't know, man. I don't know. And that's why I think if I remember right, I think I labeled that Hunter video the end of an era because I mean, to me, he was the guy asking all the questions. Like he was the guy that had the fucking questions that were difficult to fucking answer. And that was he definitely did. He had a brain that worked differently than everybody else's, and he was conspiracy. He was into that stuff. That was kind of where his mind went. He was always, insistent that there was another person there and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, sometimes he came up with something and it's like, dude, I can't answer that. I just can't do it. And and that kind of was there's not really much of that anymore. I said there's nothing that moves the needle any further. None of this is really going anywhere unless there's something new that comes out. Shit, those SMS messages, man, that was a fucking letdown. That was a total letdown. I mean, what did we get out of that? We got almost nothing. I mean, the only thing we got a little bit of his travel itinerary, which was interesting. Um, that I guess it'd be interesting to put that together and say, well, he was in Chicago, but he's in Chicago for like 2 fucking hours on a layover or some shit, I think, is what it looks like, but according to the internet searches he was doing, he was in Chicago. He was looking into events in Chicago. He's looking at places in Chicago that I don't know, visit or whatever, whatever he was planning on doing there. I don't know. But, we do have in the itinerary that he actually went through Chicago. So who the fuck knows, man? I mean, maybe the guy just flew in there and saw it was a beautiful town and decided to see what the hell was going on there in case he wanted to go back. I don't know. Yeah, well, there's been if you go on the I think LVSA has put the I don't know if he put what came to me out there, but there has been I don't know if you saw it, but there was a FOIA that in the vault they put something out on Paddock, so there was that, and then there was they finally sent me um, the SMS text messages, which I did give to LVSA to try and upload them onto something, PDF file somehow. I don't know. Um, I didn't do that. I just have it saved here. But I don't know. Uh, I don't know if he did that or not. So there's been a couple things. The SMS messages, like I said, I was actually looking for within that. I was looking for texting back and forth with people, and we didn't really get much of that. They didn't hand much of that out, and there's no context whatsoever in it. So, like, I don't even know what phone numbers these are using. What I don't fucking know, man. It's crazy. I did a whole video on it. If you want to watch that, if not, then you can talk to LVSA and see if he'll give you a copy of it. Um, I have it, but um, yeah, it's just it was a lot of nothing, to be honest with you. It really wasn't much of anything. It was a total letdown. And I was expecting, like, realistically, what I wanted to see is if he was actually texting back and forth with that prostitute that night or anybody that, for that matter. Yeah. Yeah. I, yeah, I mean, real life is, yeah, that's the thing, man. And I think you'd find it interesting because you guys were working on that timeline, right? So I think that might be interesting to you. If you didn't see the thing that got put in the vault by Paddock, um, or for it's in the FBI vault. It's labeled Stephen Paddock 01 PDF. Um, so that would be interesting to you because at one point they do talk about they have an interview with somebody saying, well, basically the FBI is saying to somebody, I think, if I remember right, that Paddock was trying to stay at the Tropicana. He stayed at the Tropicana on the 12th to the 14th, I believe it was, of September of 2017. And he was trying to get, it says in there that he was trying to get a room during the time of the shooting, or he was trying to get a room at the time of the shooting or something like that. I forget how it was worded. But basically, it sounds like It sounds like he was trying to get a room at Tropicana. And it's hard to say, when he was trying to get that room, um, because not a lot of context to that. So if he was trying to get a room at Tropicana, what does that tell you? I mean, does that say that he wanted to do this from the Tropicana instead of the Mandalay Bay? If that's the case, then that kind of throws a whole narrative out of he wanted to get back at the MGM for one reason or another. It gets a little screwy. And the interesting thing that I thought was that I didn't really even think about until I looked at the damn map, the overhead map, is Tropicana. In between the Tropicana and the venue is a gas station. So maybe he wasn't a complete fucking idiot. Maybe he didn't think that the rounds he was using was going to go through those fuel tanks. Maybe they were for the gas station. I don't know. It's just a random thought that went through my head when I saw that. I was like, wow, dude, if he would have hit that gas station with those rounds, then that probably would have done some damage. Probably would have done some serious damage to the gas station, at least to that corner. It would have been a little further from the venue. Instead of shooting at 400 yards, he would have been shooting at like 700, I believe, to the same area. If I remember right, I think it was 700 yards to that VIP area. But I mean, he would have had a kind of an interesting, fucked up view of people leaving. But uh, yeah. So I mean, it's interesting for the timeline because you gotta figure, like, when would he have wanted to when would he have wanted to get that room, at the Tropicana? And it's weird because, it says in there that he spent $38,000. I think he said he lost $38,000 at the Tropicana. Um, I don't know if it actually said while he was there during the 12th to the 14th, but I think it said in the month, that month he lost $38,000 or something in there. So, you know, he blows $38,000 in your casino. Why don't you give him a room? Like, why wouldn't you give him a room? That's weird, right? That's strange to me. And so, my understanding of it, the only thing, and I've said this in this video that I did, but I'll tell you right here that my understanding is he wanted that room. He asked for that room um, sometime leading up to the event, and he wasn't given that room. But he went and spent $38,000 in that casino, which you would think would give him whatever the fuck he wants. Um, and I believe he wanted a very specific room in there. I found a video of the floor right below it. And the floor right below it was interesting because when the guy opened the windows, those windows in the Tropicana, I know this doesn't really matter all that much because, I mean, he probably could have just knocked the fucking window out. But those windows open in a weird angle. They don't open all the way. They're old school windows. Um, and strangely enough, they do open, which is kind of rare for a Vegas casino. And they open at what, like a 45-degree angle, I think it is. But the dude was staying in the same room, but a floor below it. And he opened that window, man, and it goes right into the concert. It's kind of scary just seeing that. So you figure this guy, he stayed from the 12th to the 14th, spent $38,000. Maybe that was to, I don't know, secure the room, spending that money. I don't know. But it's just speculation. And then, and then he asked for the room, but they didn't give him the room, right? They didn't give him the room. Why wouldn't they give him the room? Um, the only thing I could think of is either they thought something was fucking shady about this guy, or the room was occupied. Now, if the room was occupied, that means he would have had to ask for the room very shortly before the event, and that's why they didn't give it to him. because somebody else was in there. Because usually people don't stay in Vegas for months at a time, you know. So maybe someone was in the room and they just couldn't give it to them. Tough shit, can't have it. And if that was the case, like, what would you think would be the timing on that? Like, what do you think the timing would be as far as when he asked for that room? You know, and it's, to me, the only thing that makes sense. And I mean, again, this is all speculation. This is my speculation based off what I've been reading. Um, you know, the only thing that would make sense to me is that, you know, this guy on the 27th in the final report, you know, as broken as that thing is, if we're take it seriously in any respect, the um on the 27th, it says he asked for the room at the end of the hallway in the 200 wing with the double doors, whatever, however the fuck they worded it. And they wouldn't give it to him. They wouldn't give it to him. They wouldn't give him the room, right? So is it hard to believe that maybe that day he called up Tropicana and said, "Hey, I want your room instead"? I don't know. I don't know. But it throws a lot of things into question, man. It's interesting. It's just, you know, it will be another part of the timeline, but it's part of the timeline. You're not gonna be able to actually pinpoint exactly when he asked for that room. So, you know, they don't have that kind of context in it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I when I went through it, I was like, yeah, that was, to me, that was the most interesting part of that. You know, a lot of people were stuck on the earplugs. He had earplugs, you know, up in his room. He had him in a bag, and it looks like it was in a bag that was sitting in the bedroom up against the wall. Um, but he didn't use the earplug. So that's, you know, strange, strange. So what does that tell you? I mean, does that mean that this thing went off before it was supposed to? That he wasn't ready? I don't know. I really don't know. You know, but a lot of people were putting a lot into the earplugs, and it's like, sorry, man, but that Tropicana thing, that's fucking bananas. That's absolutely bananas. Um, to me, that's bananas. And they gave out some of the, which kind of frustrates me a little bit, but they gave out some of the gambling records. You know, when I asked for gambling records, I got a goddamn letter from the DOJ asking who the fuck I was to be asking for that kind of information. But for some reason, they put it in the they put some of it in the vault. It's not all of it; it's just some of it. And I don't even know what casinos it's for. I think it's like the Venetian and some Silver Springs casino or some shit like that. So, you know, whatever. But but anyways, yeah, I just wanted to, I don't know. I just had some free time on my hands. Felt like venting a little bit. This but yeah, I don't know. Unless something new comes out, man. I don't know. I'm really kind of over the whole Vegas thing for the time being. Kind of tired of it, you know. Anyway, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what you're going through, man, but you know, good luck with whatever it is, dude. I don't know. It's been I don't know. The Vegas thing, it's I mean, it's dying. It's been dead for a long time, you know, kind of beating a dead horse at this point. You know, I don't know, I don't know. Oh, that sucks, man. Yeah, sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah. Yeah, dealing with funerals and stuff is never fun, man. I feel you, man. I'll tell you, man. I had somebody God, was it? Yeah, it was this year. It was earlier this year. Um I had a dude die, and some dude I work with, you know, passed away. And you know, and I'd worked with him a couple times. You know, he was all right. He was a good guy. I liked the guy, but I didn't really know him all that well. And God damn, man. He ended up with cancer. He was fairly young too. He was in his late 40s, and ended up with cancer, ended up in the hospital. We knew he was going to die. He eventually did. He passed away. And, you know, uh, I didn't think about it at the time, and I didn't go to the funeral because I was like, well, I didn't really know him all that well, so I'm not going to go. I don't feel like it's my place to go because I didn't really know him all that well. That's for family and close friends and stuff like that. So I didn't go. And, so I don't use Facebook very often. I really don't. I don't like Facebook. Fucking hate it. I want to get rid of the account. But I got people I talk to on Messenger once in a while, so I kept it. And so one day I checked it, and I see a message saying happy birthday from that guy. And I ran back the time frame on it, and I'm like, son of a bitch, man, this guy was dying. And this was like he died, I think, 2 days later. And I'm like, this fucking guy was dying. He was on his deathbed. And he said happy birthday to me on Facebook. And I didn't even bother going to his funeral. I'm like, what a head fuck. What a total fucking head fuck, man, that was. That was crazy. But, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Anyways, I'm gonna get off this, man. God, my voice is going out. It's been going out the whole time. But yeah, thanks for coming by. I've had more people watch this than watch anything else I posted, so I guess this was entertaining for someone. Um, anyways, have a good night, man. Have a good night.